Hey folks, listen, sometimes people just need to be heard. Sometimes people just want you to listen actively. Active listening. All right, so let me share this with you. The Go Giver, a little story about a powerful business idea, Bob Berg and John David Mann. Sure, he said. I mean, it sounds like it was very rough. So what did you do? His wife sat next to him on the bed and asked and looked at him again. Really? He said, my stuff will wait. Susan slowly began to talk again about her day, about an especially nasty conflict she was having with a co-worker. After a few minutes she stopped mid-sentence again and looked at Joe. He nodded and waited for her to go on. She laid back again against the pillow and began to pour her heart out. She talked about how long this difficult situation at work had been brewing, why it hurts her so, how lost she was as to what to do about it, how it made her feel. 20 minutes later, she was crying. Joe was mortified. He's been listening carefully, but she'll talk about so many different issues and covered so little ground. He wasn't sure exactly which thing she was crying about. It seems as if for Susan everything was wrong. He laid down and put his arm around her awkwardly, but her weeping continued. He murmured a few attempts at words of comfort, feeling foolish all the while. What was it Gus had said? Sometimes you feel foolish, even look foolish, but you do the thing anyway. Finally, her sobbing turned to sniffing, and then that stopped too. Joe felt immense relief. Perhaps his words were not so foolish after all. They seemed to have given her some comfort at least, or perhaps she was just thinking. Hey, he said, love you. Susan said nothing. Sue, he stirred her gently. She was asleep. She hadn't heard any of his words of comfort. She just cried herself to sleep. Feeling useless and defeated, Joe quickly got himself ready for bed and slipped under the covers. Wrapped in a quiet ache for Susan's misery and wishing he could have done something to take away its sting, he eventually drifted off. The next morning he awoke with a stir and lurk from deep sleep into sudden horrified realizations. Yesterday's lesson, was it Sam Rosen, networking, an army of personal walking ambassadors, the law of influence? He had gone from work to home to bed and passed the night away without even thinking about the day's lesson, let alone trying to apply it. He groaned and grabbed his pillow, meaning to throw it across the room in frustration. But as he did, he realized that Susan was not in the bed next to him. He glanced at the clock. 8:15 rather. He had overslept. Susan must have crept out of bed and left the house without talking to him, without even bothering to wake him. He groaned again. He's blown Pandor's lesson. He was late for work, and he was on the outs with Susan. 3 strikes, Joe, he muttered. Pandora's word echoed in his mind. If you don't abide by my conditions, our meetings will come to an end. He dragged himself upright with striking thoughts about calling Brandon to cancel his lunch appointment with Pandora. And then he glanced at Susan's pillow and noticed a piece of paper folded in half with a single word written on the side. Sweetheart. When was the last time Susan had called him that? Came to think of it, when was the last time Susan had written him a note? He picked it up and opened it. My sweet Joe, I hope I succeeded in slipping out without waking you. You deserve the extra rest after the earful I gave you last night. Thank you so much. Thank you for your generosity. Generosity, my sweet Joe? He read the rest of the note. I can't remember ever feeling so. So listened to, so heard. I love you. Joe was at loss. Generosity? What had he been generous about? He looked back at the note, scanning it for answers. Thank you for your generosity. I can't remember ever feeling so listened to. He rubbed his face amazed. It wasn't about complaining at all. She just wanted him to listen. Just wanted to be heard. All at once he remembered that voice like a crackling gate hinge. Stop keeping score. And then he laughed. He had done the homework. Sometimes people just want a listening ear. They just want to hear you, or just want you to hear them rather than to judge them and to even speak before they finish expressing themselves.